What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Adam. It is another day making my way. It is June 19th. Didn't even think about that. It's my mom's. If my mom were still alive, it'd be her birthday tomorrow. There's a lot of things. June 20th has something for me, like a message or whatever. But let's see. Today I'm a little scruffy. I got to go to the bakery tomorrow and Saturday and Monday, so that's going to be a rough ride. But I'm slowly getting into the groove here. Let's see. Oh man. The bugs are really bugging me in terms of just my mental state, like but I'm gonna say that spray that I did yesterday was a doozy. It definitely did the work. I don't think it's as bad as, people are gonna leave their comments, but I don't think the situation is that bad. But the problem is, if you see these things, then how many are inside the walls and stuff like that? So what you have to do is you have to make your home as inhospitable as possible. And there are extreme measures that can be taken you can basically you can critter proof your home. Now, when I lived out in Amish country in the middle of the woods, I talked about this in the last video, to make that house critter proof, oh my God, it was a never ending battle. I don't know what was worse, a few cockroaches or in the case, I don't know. I think I'd rather have my situation out in Amish country where it was mice, squirrels, chipmunks, snakes. What else got into that house? I swear to God, I think a groundhog might have got in there at one point. I don't know. That place was fucking nuts with the animals. I truly believe, in hindsight, having 2 cats would have been a godsend. These 2 stray cats showed up. I think somebody threw them out the window of their car as they drove by. That's what people do out in the country. I grew up in farm country, and we lived on a fairly main road, and my grandfather had a big barn. I'm telling you, all summer long, people would just drive by the house and toss cats out the window of their car. They might pull over to the side of the road and toss them out the window and drive off, but we had cats just show up all the time. Like, people out in the country assume, oh, there's a barn, we can toss our cats out the window. Cats that you don't want or whatever, you can just toss them out the window as you drive by someplace with a barn, and oh, they're gonna love having cats, because cats keep pests away. My best friend at the time when we were growing up, I had about 3 best friends, and one of those friends lived on a horse farm, and they had tons of cats that lived in the barns, and that helped keep rodents at bay, because you have these big giant tubs of horse feed and animal feed and all that kind of shit. You got to keep the rodents out, and the cats serve that purpose. But the cats are out there, they're barn cats. They don't come in the house. I should have fed those stray cats. Now, I tried to get one of those cats to come. What happened was these 2 cats would sit out on the steps outside the house and meow all night. And so I felt bad for them, so I'd put out little bowls of food and milk and stuff. And the one was very skittish, and it would just run off if you ever came anywhere near it. But the other one got brave and would come up and let me pet the cat, and then it would finally lay down on its back and let you rub its belly or whatever. But if you tried to pick that cat up, it went crazy. So one time I tried to pick the cat up, and bring it into my office, but it clawed me to death and I couldn't get it in the door. I was trying to get it inside the office so I could shut the door and then just let the cat acclimatize and chill. Because I did have that thought, like, if I just get one of these cats to come live here, or both of them, I'm not going to have problems with these fucking chipmunks and the mice and stuff anymore coming in the house. I had other ways of dealing with it, but I don't know. So anyway, I sprayed this shit all over the place yesterday. A whole gallon of it, and a gallon of this stuff in a place this small goes far. So, I mean, all the creeks and crevices and all of it. Now, this morning I found one dead one on the floor, done, and I don't see any more. I didn't see any yesterday. Well, no, I saw the ones, I flushed a couple of them out with this poison. They basically were limping across the floor, and then they turned over and died. There were two of those yesterday, and I saw one today, and so far I haven't seen any, but it's daytime, and these are nocturnal things. So, I even went around with a flashlight last night seeing if I could find any or see any. So that's round one. Round one, forget what the stuff's called now. Alpine WSG. You mix 30 grams with a gallon of water of this. It's kind of like it's crystals of some kind. It did the trick. When it dries, it's invisible, but it leaves a coating on things. And I know it works because I saw a house fly buzzing around, right? And then it was attracted to the window, and it walked around the window trying to get out, because they're attracted to the light. And like an hour later, it was laying on the ground going, like it got cooked by that stuff. It walked around in that stuff while it was trying to buzz its way out the window. And after like a couple of hours later, I saw it on the ground, paws up, just, So I don't think I'm going to see spiders or flies or anything in here for a while. But what's inside, well, like I said, what the fuck is going on inside the wall? So my next thing that I'm going to do, and I'm going to catalog everything that I'm doing here, because it's hard to say when it comes to, I got to check my laundry. Actually, I'll just let it soak for a minute. So it's hard, when you have a pest control issue at your apartment or house, whose fault is it, right? Is it the landlord's fault or is it the tenant's fault? And I'm gonna say, based on what I've seen, this shit was a problem before I moved in. So I'm just gonna do some things. I'm gonna get some spray foam and some caulk next, and I'm gonna seal all the holes. Any place that I can see where these motherfuckers can get in, I'm sealing it. The holes that they drilled for PEX pipes to come in and out of the house, I'm sealing all this shit up, sealing it from the outside and the inside. Any place I see a gap, I'm sealing that shit up so that, things can get into your house through cracks smaller than you can see. So I'm just gonna get rid of the obvious spots. Any place I see a gap or some place where they can come in, anything can come in this place, I'm sealing them off. Caulk and silicone-based caulk and what's the other thing? Spray expanding foam. Those two things will take care of that. You don't have to do all of this stuff all at once. So, I've got a plan though. I'm gonna knock these motherfuckers out. I'm gonna make this place so inhospitable to life aside from humanity that nothing will be in here. No spiders, nothing. Anything that decides to come anywhere near this house is gonna turn around and leave because they're gonna be like, holy shit, that place is dangerous. There's some dust. I can't even pronounce. There's a stuff called defense. It's a dust that you get, one of those dusters. You can spray that all around through the creeks and crevices and the cracks and just different places and in between and around stuff and behind stuff. And then there's more insecticides. There's one called Tempered FX to spray in places where you can't access, like places where it won't get wiped off easily, behind the fridge, behind appliances, under things, places where you're not going regularly. There's like 5 different kinds of gel bait that you just put tiny little dots in places. You'll never see it. You'll never know it's there. But just places all over the house, just put these little gel baits. And some of these things are pretty permanent. Like, you put the stuff out and you're not going to have to do it again for, months, if not longer than that. There's another, it's a boric acid. Boric acid is like the number one thing to use because once you put it in certain places, it's there forever. So it's not something that you have to treat over and over again. If you put the boric acid in the right places, you'll never have to do it again. It'll stay effective for the next 50 years. And then there's like, in places like, there's stuff you can use when you're mopping the floor. It's called Nibor D. When I mop the floor right now, I use the crappy, it's like a Swiffer mop with a reusable pad. You can spray this shit all over the floor and mop it into the floor. So anything that walks across the floor is done. But none of this stuff is toxic to humans. It's basically borax. It's the stuff I sprayed yesterday. A human being would have to drink 200 gallons of the mixture to have a 50% chance of dying. So, when's the last time you drank 200 gallons of water? This one guy on YouTube, this exterminator, said that as part of his permanent riddance plan, he'll drill holes in the wall, like in between each stud. He'll drill a 1/4-inch hole with a drill bit, put one of those dusters nozzles in it, and he'll spray borax. Basically, it's boric acid in a powder form. The one that he recommends is called Boractin, and he'll spray this borax powder into the walls all the way around. And I'm like, it wouldn't even take that long to do it here. If I just zip, 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 and just basically fill the walls up with boric acid powder and have it go, drill holes at the top of each section of the wall and just let it dust, let that boric acid dust fill those cracks. And he said he treated a hospital once that had a massive infestation. And he said it took a long time and it was expensive, but when he was done doing all these different things, they haven't had a single bug in the place for 40 years because he basically nuked the place completely inside and out and made it so that bugs can't live. So and then there's a whole bunch of different things to try, but I'm not gonna do this all at once. I don't know when and if I'm gonna drill holes in the wall to do this, because then you've got to get. I would have to get what do you call it, the spackling, and cover up all the holes that I drill. But it would, and I'm gonna be in this place for a year, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want this shit getting into my stuff, and then I move somewhere and I bring it with me. So, I'm just hoping that I'm hoping that all the different things I'm gonna do just takes care of it, and I don't see this shit ever again. And as an added benefit, I don't see spiders, I don't see other things. I got into some conversations with when I lived in Amish country. One of the problems I had that was beyond my capabilities was a wasp nest inside the wall of a wall. You could put your ear up to the wall and just hear like the sound of 10,000 angry wasps coming through the wall. It was crazy. And so this pest control guy, he came over. He's a friend of the landlord. Dude was weird as fuck. He was like straight up. It was like it was like a character from The Simpsons, I swear. It was hilarious. He walked around with a backpack sprayer, and he uses pyrethrin for pretty much everything he does, he said. Which pyrethrin is a natural pesticide. It comes from, there are certain flowers that repel insects out in the wild as a defense mechanism, and pyrethrin is a concentrated version of the chemical that plant secretes, and it's very strong. It's completely non-toxic to people. You could drink a glass of it and it wouldn't kill you, wouldn't hurt you, but bugs hate it and it kills them. And he'd be walking around, he'd see a bug, he'd be like, "Psst, gotcha, bitch." I'm just like, dude was he was a little weird. Like he was like he had that like serial killer look about him, as he was, like, how like they say when you see the little kid pulling the wings off of a bug and then going, that's a serial killer 20 years from now. That's what this guy reminded me of. But whatever, maybe his profession just did something to him, I don't know, but he really got a kick out of spraying this shit all over, and he got it up in there, and he got it down into that wall, and like 2 days later, I put my ear up to the wall, nothing. Nothing at all. And he came back a couple of times and just hit that spot over and over again, but within a day or so, he covered the entrance hole that they were coming in and out of, to the point where he was like, give it like 48 hours, you won't see another one. And it was true. So pyrethrin's another one. It's not even on my list for this problem, but it is, it's not expensive. It's not super expensive, and it's just something I might just go out and spray the outside of the fucking house, cover it in pyrethrin just to keep bugs from coming anywhere near the fucking house. But it doesn't last. The problem with pyrethrin is it doesn't have a long shelf life. You spray it around your house and stuff, and it'll do the job for a while, but it won't last very long. It doesn't have permanence. And so some of these other ones, boric acid, when you use the boric acid, that's permanent. If you mix Nibor D with water and you put it in a spray bottle and you spray down your walls, just spray it all over the fucking place. It's permanent. It leaves a permanent coating. So if a bug crawls on your wall, it's done. It's over. Game over. It's going to die from that. But it's harmless to you, and you won't even see it because it's invisible. And so I'm just going to go one step at a time with this, and I'm not going to just lay down and be like, okay, if I don't see another bug for the next 3 weeks or whatever, I'm not just going to be like, okay, they're gone. No, I'm going to actually keep doing things to make this place bug proof. But I haven't seen a spider today. I haven't seen nothing. Other than the housefly and the cockroach that was like done, laying on the ground. So I know the shit works because I've seen the results of it. I'm gonna pull the fridge out and see what's behind the fridge, and but I'm not seeing evidence of them. It's not like an infestation where you can say, oh, holy shit. It's like I'm seeing like 1 or 2 a day. But that freaks me the fuck out. Because if I'm seeing them, where the fuck are they? Where are the ones I'm not seeing? That's what freaks me out. So, but I'm not the first person on earth that's ever had this issue. You know, these fucking things have been around for 200 million years. And nothing kills them. Whatever killed the fucking dinosaurs didn't kill them. So, but I'm gonna make sure that there are more hospitable homes around me than my place for them to shack up. Make sure for the. I don't know if I'm going to the extent of drilling holes in the walls and going to that level. If I can make it so I don't see an insect for 3 months in a row, not even a spider or anything else, I'll know that I'm doing, that I'm doing a pretty good job on keeping this shit controlled to an extent. But I think that's something, now this is like a learning experience for me. If I, out in the woods, were building my off-grid cabin, okay, let's just talk about that. One of the things that I will do is I will completely, like if I get an empty shell of a cabin, right? I am going to treat everything inside and out with as much permanent bug repellent and bug, stay the fuck away shit as I can possibly do. And then when I start walling up the inside of my off-grid cabin or the cabin I build myself, whatever it is, out in the wood, if I build something myself, as I'm putting the walls up, I am going to fill those fucking walls with boric acid and other powders and anything that can be permanent, anything that's like 50 years from now, that stuff is still going to be active and taking out whatever's in there. I'll put anything to kill, anything that wants to get inside those walls, that's going to be their final resting place. I mean, it's something that you should do. One of the other things I'm going to do here, and I don't think the landlord will have an issue with me taking it out of the rent. He's pretty easygoing. I haven't had an issue yet with him. I mean, granted, I'm not even a month into the lease, so I said I was going to put a deadbolt on this front door and possibly another lock, and fully aware that somebody could just come in through a window if they really want to get in here. But at least make it a little more difficult, right? I mean, if I truly lived in the ghetto, I could put bars over the windows and with tamper-proof screws and bolts and stuff, and I could go to town. But I mean, do I really need to do that? In my off-grid cabin, maybe. I might, it depends on, if I have an off-grid cabin that I don't come see very often, that I'm where I'm going to be gone for 2 to 3 months at a time, I will probably get some sort of locking shutters that I can fold down and lock in place and turn the whole place into a locked up box. And then what those shutters would do from the top, I'd put hinges above the windows with a shutter that comes down and covers the window and then locks, and something substantial like steel or something. I'll design something cool I'm sure something already exists, but even if it doesn't, I could make something in no time. something weather sealed to protect it from the elements and to protect it from people who might not, make it hard for people to break into the place. Mount cameras around it and make it obvious that, like, there's game cameras pointed at you that you don't see. There's cameras that are out in the open that you see. The cameras that are out in the open for people to see, that's for them to know they're being watched. That's a deterrent. The cameras that are hidden are to capture what happens when they, like the landlord, he took the camera down. But I had a hidden camera watching him take the fucking camera down. So, right? But all these are learning experiences that I'm having now, and it's giving me ideas. Okay, when you build your own little, if I were to build a place as big as the one I'm in right now or bigger, here are a handful of things that would come in handy to know. Let's see. The front door here, I'm changing, like I said, I'm going to put a deadbolt on with a single key for the doorknob and the deadbolt. There's weather stripping around the door that's crap. Amazon has special weather stripping. I can replace the weather stripping. There's a slot so I can get 40 feet of weather stripping for like nothing on Amazon. And this particular weather stripping is designed for doors that have big gaps. So there's a big gap, but I can see that if I get this weather stripping, I'll seal that gap right up. And then I'm going to get a door sweep for the bottom of the door, so when I shut the door, there's no gaps at the bottom of the door either. So all the stuff I'm going to do to the door is going to be a couple $100, but the landlord should take that off the rent. No problem there. Especially, I'm not going to do this stuff without talking to him first, and I'm just going to be like, look, it's going to make your place better. When I move out, it's going to be better than when I moved in. You know what I mean? And he's not going to have a problem with that. He'll probably appreciate the fact that I'm taking care of his place. He doesn't seem to be a total slumlord like the last guy. So if I tell him, if this bug issue becomes an issue, like to where it gets worse instead of better, I may have to be like, yo, we got to do something about this and take more aggressive approach. But it's definitely teaching me a couple of things in terms of what to do when I build my own place or get my own place that's mine, or, when I'm renting a home from the government instead of renting a home from a landlord. So let's see. Speaking of rentals, the garage apartment that if you watched my videos back in May, the first half of May, I was trying to get a garage apartment that was this really beautiful apartment. And the guy just kept jerking me around. Oh, I've got more people looking at it. Oh, some more people are coming next week to look at it. Oh, I'm going to make my decision this weekend. And he just kept kicking the can down the road on this. Those ads are still up. It's June 19th and he still has the ads listed. And he hasn't taken the ads down. And the ads are being posted by his children. There's 2 different people posting the same ad, and they keep refreshing the ad so that it shows up in the top of the, when you log into Marketplace, it shows up at the top every time they refresh the thing. Or I don't know, there's something you can do to make the ad seem like it's a new ad again. And so he keeps pushing it up to the top. Like, here it is. He could have had that place rented out on like May 2nd. He could have had that place rented for June 1st, and he's just letting it sit empty. And now I'm like, yeah, that guy would have been a fucking pain in the ass to deal with. If he's that much he kept telling me over the course of 2 or 3 weeks the number of people, I swear he probably had 20 fucking people come look at that apartment in the span of a few weeks. And at the middle of May, that's when I was like, I'm fucking done. On May 15th, I put my foot down. I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. And I made a move on the place I'm in now. And I feel like I made the right move. I feel like this place is fine. I'm enjoying my time here. It's a much more peaceful, it's a decent place right now. In spite of the few problems here and there, it's I'm fine with it. For a year, after a year when it goes month to month, then I'm like, all right, might be time to see what's up. Maybe I can find something better, but I don't want to move again. I want to sit for a year without having to move. Do whatever I got to do to make this place work. Hot water's hot. The tub. Oh my goodness, I took a bath last night that was amazing. It was even better than the last one. I came out of that bathtub and sat in my chair to watch some more Star Wars, and I was just like, like just completely shut down. My whole body was just, all the muscle pain, all of it. Man, whoever suggested getting the Epsom salt, you kicked off. I didn't just get the Epsom salt. I went to town on, I got the Epsom salt, the baking soda, I got some incense, got the eucalyptus oil and the eye drop. Oh my God, man. I'm probably gonna cut back on the amount of stuff that I dump in the tub down to maybe a cup. But I don't care, man. I put 2 cups of the salt, 2 cups of the baking soda, 2 eyedroppers of the oil, and the incense. Whew, holy crap. I just sat there watching YouTube videos. I put my phone on a tripod and just laid back, because if I can sit in the tub a lot longer if I'm watching a video of something and an hour goes by and I'm like, I can sit in the tub for an hour, but without having something to do, keep my mind occupied. It was like, I can't stay in the tub for a long period of time without wanting to get out of the tub and, like, you know, go back to my business or of life or whatever. But no, I sat in that tub. My hands were all wrinkled up like a raisin. Oh, it was so good. Oh, it was so good. I'm not doing it today, but whenever I go on these bike rides, I think one of the things I'm gonna do with the bakery is have everything ready to go. So when I come home, I can just boom, boom, get in the tub and soak it out and just get rid of it. Like, instead of sitting in a chair for an hour when I get home and then getting up and being unable to walk, I'm thinking that taking a hot bath and soaking and getting all of that, you know, getting that moving along, whatever you're going to call it. I think that will. I think that'll help a lot with my energy level in terms of how I feel when I come back from that. You can call me a fat piggy, but because the buns I bought for my hamburgers were so big, I took 4 quarter-pound I took 4 quarter-pound burgers that I had already made into patties and put in the freezer, and I combined them into 2 half-pounders. And I couldn't eat just one. But this is all I ate yesterday. Believe it or not, I didn't eat lunch. I didn't eat anything all day long. So when I did eat, I ate 2 half-pound burgers. And the burger size, the half-pound burger patty, was the exact size of the bun when I got done cooking them. So yeah, on the cast iron skillet, they came out so good. And I use my bacon. I know you're not supposed to press a hamburger when you're cooking it. And when I'm cooking it on a grill on an open flame, I don't. I'll make the burger patties as flat as possible because they shrink up when you cook and they get fat. So if I'm gonna cook burgers on a open flame, whatever they are when they go on the flame is what they're gonna be when they're done. But when you're cooking it in a pan, especially a pan with a rim around it, all that burger grease that you're squishing out of the burger is just gonna go, it's just gonna mix with the burger anyway. So it's I don't call it a smash burger because smash burgers are pretty damn thin. But when I put it in the pan, I take the bacon press and I'm like that, just to get them to spread out. And so I'll cook it like that, flip it until it's nice and firm in the middle. And they came out perfect yesterday. Probably a little bit, the one thing I should have done was put the cheese and the bacon on. I had the bacon already cooked from the other day's bacon adventure. So I put some shredded cheddar, a big pile of shredded cheddar on each burger, and then bacon on top of that, and then set the burger press on top of that just to get it to where the cheese would melt. And I should have done that sooner because I like my burgers to be medium. I don't like them to be they weren't well done, but they were kind of, they were definitely well medium. I don't like blood in my meat, but I like a burger that's got like just a little, it needs to be just pink in the middle. It doesn't need to be, I don't want red in my meat. I don't want red anywhere in the meat when I cook a steak or whatever. I mean, Pittsburgh people, man, they'll eat that shit straight off the side of a cow. But not me. I want it to be right at the point where it's pink and the juices are running pretty clear. There's no more blood in the meat, and then I'm good. But I don't want it to be like, I wouldn't call it medium rare, medium. That's what I always cook my red meat. So the burgers could have been a little bit less. So, but it's been a while since I've been a cook, and I figured burgers would be a good place to start. Burgers and bacon, because this cast iron pan that I'm using right now, I don't use it a lot. It's a Griswold pan. It's an awesome cast iron pan. But I have another Lodge pan that I had for like 15, 20, 25 years. I don't know. I've had it for since my daughter was a little girl, I've been cooking on that. And I've cooked on that Lodge pan so long, and you always use metal spatulas when you cook on it. The surface of that pan is like it's like, if you ever go to a store and you see the Lodge cast iron pans, run your finger on the surface of the cook surface and you'll see that it's rough. It's not great. Those pans kind of suck when you first buy them. But I've been cooking on this damn thing for so long that when you run your finger across the surface of that Lodge pan, it's like a sheet of glass. It's perfectly smooth. There's no texture to it at all anymore. But I have to re-season that pan completely. I have to get some steel wool and take an Easy Off oven cleaner, and I have to take it all the way down to the bare metal and re-season it from scratch. And that's a project for another day. So in the meantime, I'm using this Griswold pan, which is a much better pan, but it doesn't have the years on it. It doesn't have, so it's not, I wouldn't dare cook an egg on this pan right now. That fucking egg, everything about it would stick. That egg would just turn into a mess. But I can get this thing to the point by cooking greasy food on it, like bacon and burgers, and if I put some oil, like peanut oil, in there and fry something in peanut oil or anything like that. If I keep doing that over and over and over again, it won't take long before that pan becomes bacon or becomes egg worthy, but it'll take time to where you can just crack an egg and the thing just slides around on it. But right now it's not there. So I'm gonna I gotta go grocery shopping today because I'm running out of food. So I'm probably I love cheeseburgers, man. I love them. That's my favorite food. So I'm probably gonna do a little bit more. so I can make burgers throughout the week. That turned out to be a really good idea. And then I've been eating a lot of salads. All the salads that I bought got devoured this week. So salads, burgers. I had carrots. I had a lot of lemon, water with lemon. Just a lot of different things that I've been missing for a while. And so I'm just going to keep working on that. And let's see, my battery's about to die, or not battery, my space on my phone is probably going to run out in the middle of this video, and I'm probably not going to continue it. So if it just cuts out, it cuts out. It's how it's going to be today. But I just got one more thing. So after I took a bath last night and got my muscles all, I feel good today too, man. I feel really good today. Back to the Star Wars life. So I'm on the Clone Wars now, and that's going to be a long haul. Some of these episodes for Star Wars are like the shows. Each episode of a show is like 15-20 minutes. So right now I've watched 23 things out of the 419 things there are to see. 3 of them were movies, and the rest were 20-minute long episodes of a show. So, and the Acolyte, those episodes are like 40 minutes, I think. I don't remember, but so I can watch a few of those in an evening. But it's very interesting because somebody went and put every single thing in chronological order according to the Star Wars timeline. And this Clone Wars show is really interesting because after episode 2 of the prequels, Attack of the Clones, there are 3 episodes of the Clone Wars. No, there's 2 episodes of the Clone Wars series, the animated series, and they were from like season 2 and season 3. So that whole series, all 7 seasons of the Clone Wars series, the shows are all over the place in terms of where they happen in the timeline. So somebody went and reordered it all so it takes place. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm watching it this way for the first time, and I'm like, man, that's weird how it worked out. So there are these 2 episodes of the Clone Wars series that take place right after that movie, and it's all the same battle on this one planet. And the 2 episodes of the series are like, here's the battle, some more of the battle, but the 2 episodes are like 2 seasons apart. And then there's a Clone Wars movie that they had put out back in the day. It was, I'm looking here, it was 2008. There was a Clone Wars movie, an animated 3D movie. It was in the theaters. That's the only Star Wars movie I didn't see in the theater my whole life. And I don't really, it's good enough, but it's like, I never really, at the time that this came out in the movie theater, it really wasn't like, if it was a live action movie, I wouldn't have missed it. But it's not a cartoon, but it's 3D animated, so it's like a borderline cartoon. But the movie starts right after those 2 episodes of the show in chronological order. The second episode of that show, then you watch that movie, and the movie picks right up where that show left off, and it's like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And then you watch the movie, and then the next episodes of the show kind of pick up there. But the whole thing is way out of order. Like, I have to sit there and search through all the seasons of the show to find the next episode on the list, because they're not in order of how the show was made. And I don't think all the shows like Andor, Andor is in order. Now there might be other shows to watch along with it, but when you get down to, but this Clone Wars shit is going to take a long time to get through. And there's really nothing that, oh yeah, by the time you get to Revenge of the Sith, the last of the prequel movies, that's a long way away. You've pretty much watched all of the Clone Wars shows, all 7 seasons of it by the time you get to that movie. And then, but there is a couple more episodes that take place at the same time as the movie that they have listed after the movie. So, like things that are going on off to the side. And then there's a couple of other, there's another series to watch. I don't know if that is going to jump around as much. And then there's some other random shows in the middle of that. And then there's the Han Solo movie. And then there's then the Obi-Wan Kenobi series takes place not too long after that, which that's a pretty good show. I thought that was pretty fun. And then Andor starts. But then Andor takes place at the same time as this animated series called Star Wars Rebels. So it'll be like an alternating back and forth, watching a season of Andor, and then watching some Star Wars Rebels, and then back to Andor, and then back to Star Wars Rebels. And they'll kind of go back and forth a little bit because those take place at the same time. And then from there, after Andor is the movie Rogue One, and then it's Rogue One, then, you know, Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and then you get into like The Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett and Ahsoka. And then that Skeleton Crew show was actually decent. If you like the movie The Goonies, it's like I called it Space Goonies when we were watching it. I was like, yeah, it's like watching the Goonies out in outer space. It's like straight up, whoever made that show, Skeleton Crew, was like, let's make a copy of the Goonies and make it Star Wars. So that was it made me feel like I was a little kid again. And then there's this one show that's kind of It's called Star Wars Resistance, and that's when you're getting into like the First Order and the Disney trilogy, and then you're gonna just see The Force Awakens and so The Force Awakens and the Star Wars Resistance and The Last Jedi, and that all just kind of goes back and forth until you get to The Rise of Skywalker. And so this is going to take a while. This is a lot of stuff to watch. So, but right now it's kind of like my daily routine to just sit down for an hour or so. An hour to an hour and a half is about, I'll sit down at like 9 o'clock and start watching some stuff, and by 10:30 I'm falling asleep and I gotta go to bed. So however long it takes, but I'm always finding stuff to talk about that relate to real life. And in the Clone Wars movie, Ahsoka was talking to Anakin about how Master Yoda has a saying that old sins cast long shadows. And it was because Anakin and Ahsoka had to go to Tatooine because someone kidnapped Jabba the Hutt's son, and they were trying to bring Jabba the Hutt's son back to him because they needed Jabba's support to open up the trade routes they needed to be able to use Jabba's territory to stage raids against the separatists. And now remember, this whole war that's going on, the Clone War, was orchestrated by Emperor Palpatine, both sides. He funded and literally created the army on both sides of the war. The clone army and the droid army were created by the same guy to start a war a galactic war that consumes the whole galaxy. And it was the way that he consolidated all of his power and became the emperor. He used, and so that's a metaphor for real life right there. The old money families, especially the Rothschild family, the Napoleonic Wars were funded. Most of the wars, going all the way, World War II, World War I, the Vietnam War, the Napoleonic Wars, the Civil War, all these wars are funded by the elite on both sides. A good example is during World War II, George W. Bush, the president, whose dad was also president, the grandfather of George W. Bush was called Prescott Sheldon Bush. That was his full name. He got in trouble during World War II for being one of the primary financiers of Adolf Hitler. So these people get together and they fund wars. They fund Hitler. They built up Hitler's military and funded the whole thing. They gave him all the money that he needed to build up his military. And then they fund the other side of the war. And they put all the money into, they build both armies, just like Palpatine did. And then they get a big war going because it allows them to gain control over everything. Look at when our government allowed terrorists to bomb the World Trade Center. What happened? They funded Al-Qaeda. Our United States government funded those terrorists and built them up to do that. And then that allowed them to build up our military and send our military over there to fight that war. And it was all just a big money grab. And so, I mean, these are examples of how it works in today's world. So Star Wars is a big metaphor. Like, it really, you can teach kids how the world works by explaining it to them with Star Wars. Like, you know, if you're trying to talk to your son about how wars are fought, and you can say, hey, remember how Palpatine built the droid army, and then he built the clone army, and he had them fight with each other, and look at how much power he got because of that. You know, they were not able to send our troops to Iraq, and they were not able to pass a dystopian law like the Patriot Act, where they can spy on everybody, until 9/11. After 9/11, everybody was like, okay, yeah, we'll do the Patriot Act. Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Yeah, let's let the government spy on everybody so we can catch them. We got to catch them terrorists, right? Yeah. People of America wouldn't have gone for that shit if it wasn't for the terror attack that allowed that. Now everybody's on board. Well, not everybody, but enough people got on board that they were able to pass that shit. Nobody wanted to go to war in Iraq. After 9/11, they were fine with it. That's how it works. That's how this shit works. So Star Wars is just full of messages about how the world really works, except instead of talking about different countries, it's different planets. Right? Each planet is like a country. You know, each planet has one type of, you know, on Earth, each country has its own topography, its own geography. You know, there's a desert country, there's a jungle country, and blah, blah, blah. In Star Wars, there's a desert planet. The whole planet's a fucking desert. Another is a jungle planet. The whole planet's a jungle. You got the forest moon of Endor where the Ewoks live. The whole planet is a redwood forest. You know, each planet represents a country, what we would have on Earth. So the whole thing is just, it's like he took history books and turned it into a space movie. And, but anyway, Master Yoda has a saying, old sins cast long shadows. And Anakin had to go back to Tatooine. And this was after he had just gotten done slaughtering a whole tribe of sand people because they kidnapped his mom. And, you know, that was actually like part of his downfall. In fact, there's side stories in comic books and books that talk about how Palpatine and Dooku paid the Sand People to kidnap his mom because they knew that his attachment to his mom, that Yoda talked about in The Phantom Menace when Anakin was a little boy, that attachment to his mother and missing his mother and, being afraid of losing his mother was one of the big things that led to his downfall. Like, this message carries out throughout the whole thing. And when the Sand People stole his mother and kidnapped her, and he came to rescue his mom, it was a setup. Like, he was set up for that because the Palpatine wanted to convert him into his apprentice, and he had to trigger Anakin's fear into anger, into rage, into hate, to where he just slaughtered a whole tribe of Sand People. And then when he told his girlfriend at the time, Padme, about it, and she was just like, well, whatever, they're just Sand People, who cares, right? If you watch the movie, that's what happens. He tells his girlfriend, I just slaughtered a whole tribe of Sand People, and not just the men, but the women and the children too. I killed all of them. I killed them all. And she is like, oh, all right. Or just Sand People, who fucking cares, right? But, like, she wasn't fazed by it at all. If they were humans, she probably would have dumped his ass. She'd been like, yo, that's a little crazy. But, whatever, they're just Sand People, who cares? That's kind of a metaphor of how Americans were during the Gulf War, isn't it? Right? Like, we were torturing people over there. We were doing all kinds of fucked up shit over there in the Middle East, and people in America are like, who fucking cares? Oh, they're just a bunch of Sand People, who cares? This is all, like, these are all metaphors and messages all through Star Wars that you can talk about this all day long. Every time you watch something, you can talk about how it relates to the real world. So that's why I think that that's why people like this shit so much. Because it's not just some pointless space bullshit. It's reality turned into drama in space, right? So anyway, old sins cast long shadows, and that's what they were referring to. His apprentice didn't know about this, but Anakin's like, yeah, I don't want to fucking talk about it, basically. And, Anakin turned around and said, Master Yoda means that your past can ruin your future if you allow it. So this old sins cast long shadows, and your past can ruin your future if you allow it to. I think that if you allow it to speaks to me because, obviously my mean tweets, my hatred of the federal government is casting quite a long shadow. I did this stupid shit back in August of 2022, and here it's June 2025, and I still can't even climb out of the fucking mess. I got 2 years, 20 months in fucking prison for that. 20 fucking months of my life gone, along with everything I worked for up until that point. Now I'm 49 years old and I'm barely able to fucking survive. And I have to start life over at 49. That's a pretty long fucking shadow. I just got handed a $120,000 a year job, and then, oh, never mind, as soon as they found out. Some of the people involved in the process were really polite, and the one recruiter said he wanted to still work with me and find something that, he could make money, he could get a commission off of, but like he doesn't think I deserve to lose my entire life and livelihood because of what I did. There's a lot of people in Texas who, believe it or not, hate the federal government. There's a lot of friendly folk here. When they find out what happened to me and what I did and what happened as a result, they're kind of they're more often than not, they're angrier at the government for what they did to me than what I did to get that. And so, if I was living in Boston or one of these, Northeast shitholes, or one of these, Democrat-run shithole cities, it probably wouldn't be the case. I'd probably have a lot more enemies, but I'm in friendly territory right now. I'm in like the bluest, other than Austin, the People's Republic of Austin. Houston's one of the bluest places in Texas, and it's still friendly territory. Most of the people I meet and talk to here are like, holy shit. Like they don't like the government here. But old sins cast long shadows. But your past can ruin your future if you allow it to. So yeah, I could lay down and die. I could just, I could be like one of these insects that walked across the poison floor and the poison walls that I put up yesterday and just be like, and just lay down and fucking die. That's what they want me to do. That's what the people that threw me in prison, the people that ruined my life, the people that are trying to make it so I never have a job again, so that I can never see my children again, so that I have absolutely nothing. And the people that want me to serve a life sentence for this, yeah, they want me to lay down and die. They want me to give up. They want me to suffer for the rest of my life. They don't want me to ever have a day where they don't ever believe that you paid your debt to society at this point. They want you to suffer for the rest of your life. If you were in my shoes, they would want you to suffer for the rest of your life. They don't want you to ever be able to come back from that. They don't want you to ever have a good job again. They don't want you to ever be able to survive, to have a car, to get back, to be able to spend time with your children and all that stuff. They want you to fucking lay down and die. And if you cave into that, that's what'll happen. But I'm not. I fight hard. And so this is the biggest fight I've ever been in my life, and I'm gonna fucking win. I don't lose. So it doesn't, George Washington won the Revolutionary War, but how many battles did they didn't win that many battles. They got their ass kicked time and time again. They won like 4 fucking battles. Saratoga, when they crossed the Delaware to Trenton, New Jersey, that was a big one. They won a battle down south, and they won Cowpens, and then they won the god damn it, when they won the war, when they surrounded Cornwallis in Virginia. What the hell was the name of the battle? My mind just doesn't work. Yorktown. The Battle of Yorktown. They won Saratoga, like I said, Trenton, Cowpens down south, and Yorktown on the shores of Virginia. And they pretty much lost all the other fucking battles of the war. They just had to win a few times. They finally just made it to where the people in England were sick and tired of sending their sons to go die in this stupid ass war, and they were fed up with their king for trying to hold on to these colonies. All George Washington had to do to win the war was keep fighting. That's the point. He didn't have to win very much. They didn't have to win very many battles. They just had to keep fighting. They had to not quit. I guess you could say that they won the battle of I don't know why my brain doesn't work. The Battle of Lexington and Concord they won, on the first day of the war. And they really didn't win in Lexington. They got steamrolled, but the British Army had to turn around and run back once they got to Concord, and the Americans were lined up and ready and waiting for them, and they had the high ground, and they had a good position. They drove the British back. But they didn't have to win that many battles. They just had to keep fighting and keep fighting and keep fighting until they finally won. And they won number one, by making it so that the British population didn't support the war anymore because they were sick and tired of watching their children go off to die in a pointless war. And by surrounding their top general in a way that he couldn't escape and he had to raise the white flag and go home. But they came back again. They kept trying to come back and take it. You know, they came back. Andrew Jackson had to drive the British away down in New Orleans. They came back. The War of 1812. They burned Washington, D.C. So it's like the British didn't give up. We had to keep kicking them out. The people that were alive back then had to keep kicking them out of this country. But the point is, they didn't stop fighting. So that's how I'm going to win this war. I'm not going to lose because I'm going to fight till the fucking last breath I take. I'm going to fight back against these people in any way that's possible. And at some point, I'm just going to wear them down, and they're not going to be able to keep coming at me like that. Let's see, one more thing, because I didn't talk about this yesterday. Speaking of coming at me all the time, I've kicked 3 trolls off the channel, and I've learned something interesting about this. So this one guy, you'll know who it is, the guy with the fucking Polish name or whatever, the guy who showed up to almost every fucking video from day one, leaving some shitty ass comment, some troll comment, and he comes every time I post a video. He was there. Well, I kicked him off the channel. Within 3 hours of kicking that dude off the channel, some other guy, some other troll showed up and left the same fucking comment. Left the same comment. And one thing I did notice is that was that when this guy would show up as a troll and comment and leave troll comments on the channel, the other one would respond to his comment. And I didn't put 2 and 2 together until I kicked the one guy off the channel, and 3 hours later, this other one shows up leaving the same fucking comment. So it's the same fucking... This troll has multiple accounts, at least 2 accounts, to show up and troll somebody's channel and then show up using a different username. So that means the dude has to maintain 2 different Google accounts so he can come and leave a troll comment on your channel and then show up as a different person and leave another troll comment on your channel. But it's the same fucking guy. And so I kicked that one off. I'm like, fuck it, keep coming back, asshole. Well, after I kicked those 2 off, another troll showed up the next day and did a copy-paste job, left the same exact fucking comment on multiple videos, just copy-paste, 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 left this real shitty comment being a fucking troll on multiple videos, but it was copy and paste job, just here's my shitty comment, again, 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 just pasted it onto a bunch of videos. But when you block somebody from your channel, it automatically deletes every comment they ever left on any of your videos. So it's like, click, click, you're out, bitch, see ya. So I kicked 3 of them out. But I have a feeling, like, I just wonder, I think all 3 of them were the same fucking person. Just because it seemed like somebody got butthurt that they got kicked off the channel twice, so they came back as a 3rd account and just started copying and pasting the same fucking troll comment on multiple videos. And I'm like, somebody's real butthurt today, because why are they doing that? Why are they putting the same fucking comment on multiple videos just 1 or 2 days after I kicked the 2 accounts off of my channel? So they're banned from being able to leave comments again. And then all of a sudden, this hasn't happened before. This was a new thing. Somebody just shows up and goes copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, leaving fucking troll comments across all these videos. And I'm like, block. I'm over it. And I'm just like, who the fuck has that much free time that they're gonna make multiple fucking YouTube accounts to troll a guy on YouTube who has 1,200 followers over and over again, like it's your mission in life? And somebody even left a comment to the guy, which is gone now, unfortunately. Somebody said, look at him, it's probably your ex. But I don't think that's the case. I know her. I know these people. I don't think if it's somebody that I know doing it, I don't even know who it would be, to be honest. I don't know anybody who would have that much free time on their hands to just show up and be a fucking dickhead with multiple Google accounts, setting up motherfucker's probably gonna set up a new fourth account to come back and drop a bunch of troll comments on some videos here in the next week or two. It's like, how many fucking fake Google accounts can you set up just to troll a guy who has 1,200 followers who gets like 200 views on a video? Like, what the fuck problem does this asshole have that he's got to go out of his way, or her way, or whatever, whoever it is? Who has to go that far out of their way to drop comments like that on somebody who's basically a fucking nobody on YouTube? But I just got to the point where I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna block these people because fuck them. I'm tired of getting a notification that somebody left a comment on my channel and then I read it. It's just that fucking asshole again. Like, it's a waste of my time to click on an email and see the comment and be like, delete. Like, now I don't have to waste my time doing. Now, I consider that to be a waste of my time, to just see a message, click on it, go, oh, that asshole again, and hit the delete button on the message, but leave the comment sitting there. But that still takes, if it happens every day, it's time out of my day. Oh, fuck, fucking asshole, delete. So now I can just hit a delete button that makes it so that I never see a message from that asshole again. But this guy has enough fucking time in his day. Well, I'm just gonna set up a brand new Google account and I'm gonna come after him again. Have at it, you fucking dick. I'm just gonna waste a lot of your time because every time you show up with your dumbass remarks, I'm gonna block you from now on. So if I start doing the live chats and you show up in the live chat, you're fucking done, dude. You're out. You come to my house, I let you come to the party, and you start treating me and all the guests like shit. Get the fuck out. You're out. You've been ejected. You're ejected. You're no longer at the house party. Peace out. And so with that, I think it's about time for me to go get the laundry moving, and peace out, everybody.